Okay. JD's not here today. He couldn't be with us, so it's just us three.
The OGs.
Welcome to the Hometeam Podcast. So today, I don't know, it's Saturday, the third, the fourth, but today's podcast is the same thing. We'll try to narrow down the topics to fewer topics, but more in depth. Well, let us know if you like this approach or the other episodes. So welcome. My name is Sam. This is my co-host, Easy Ebe and Awesome Hater or Awesome. Anyways, the three main topics for today would be police reform in terms of the latest with Tyre Nichols, and then also foreign policy, foreign aid as we come up on the 1 year anniversary to Ukraine-Russia war. And then we'll light-hearted topics on sports in general and how Ronaldo is the best soccer player in the world.
That's not even debatable. Yeah, it's Messi.
So that's it. So let's get into the first topic of the day, which is just Tyre Nichols in terms of that.
I think it's Tyre Nichols.
Tyre.
Tyre
I apologize, Mike. Tyre Nichols in terms of that. It's definitely a sad story, and I'll share my experiences, and then I'll let you guys go in terms of that. The most out of all the news, there's somebody that posted on, I think it might have been Facebook, one of the friends, and it hit home. It says, I'm going to brutalize it. It's worse when somebody that you know hurts you, or it's just in terms of, it's usually the people that hurt the most is people in your own circle or in your own community. And that's, from my perspective as an African American male, it's worse. Am I surprised and shocked at it? No. And somebody else, I think it was Preaching Napa, said it. I don't see the difference between a white cop and a black cop. I'm being pulled over in my personal experience. I just see a blue cop in terms of that. So it's nothing against police in general. We'll talk about our different approaches, but I don't see the race, but it does hit differently when, like growing up in Africa, there's police brutality is still very prevalent in terms of beatings and assaults. So it's not new, but it's definitely sad to see on camera. And that's one thing that I guess it's a blessing in the day's age where things like this can't get covered up. And it's a sad reality that we live in, and for people to think they still have body cams and they can still act that way, it's wild. And I think right now, 6 police officers have been fired and charged. One just got fired Friday, and then 3 firefighters also got fired, if I remember, and 1 administrator when I was looking it up in terms of that too. So it's wild, but I'm very happy on the actions that Memphis police have taken. So that's my initial take, and I'll talk about other data later on.
Yeah. My take on this whole situation is, it's kind of funny because last week we talked about how there was. I know they're not the same type of thing, but like we had mentioned about the race of the victim or the perpetrator, where when it was Asian on Asian crime, or there was not it wasn't a national sensation, but now we have black officers predominantly. There's not only black officers. I think there was 1 white officer, and of course Tyre Nichols, who is black. But then, because it's this situation, it sort of almost is super perpetuated, not only by like the centrist or more liberal leaning media, but also by the conservative media, what I've noticed. And it's kind of messed up because, like, for example, Tucker Carlson and these Fox News sort of media, they kept bringing on, um, they kept bringing on uh, black pundits, news anchor, like news people, pundits, and then like it is really messed up what they were doing because they would get these black news anchors in just to say that, oh, this is not a problem with police, this is an example of black on black crime, and I think that's really really effed up because it's not. That shouldn't be the storyline at all. The storyline, like Sam said, should be this is a problem with police. This police needs to be reformed. um and you guys might know my stand. My stance is defund the police. um yeah, no, fuck that shit, man. Defund the police, bro. Why they don't need tanks? They don't need
Defunding the
tanks.
police is the reason why we are where the fuck we are right now,
No,
fam. Stop defunding the fucking police.
No,
Use
bro.
that money on training.
They say this is what they do. They say police need more training, give us more money, but they never train the police properly. They just buy tanks, they buy anti-riot gear,
That's what
they
I'm
buy
saying. Don't allow that to
AR-15s,
happen, man.
and
We
then
live in
they
such a
don't do any
democratic system, but
change,
we
bro. They
cannot
don't
allow that
change.
to happen.
Why, if they're not gonna do it right, don't give them the funding for it. You're safer without them. Minorities are safer without them, bro. Well, like unless you're white and rich, bro, who are they helping?
Well, okay.
You know what I'm saying? What are they protecting? They're not protecting our lives.
So next time you get robbed, you're gonna call the crackhead.
Who's robbing me, bro? Who's
Well,
robbing
nobody
me?
in Malaysia. Okay, if you get robbed in Malaysia, who you calling? You calling your neighbor?
Well, I'll tell you what. If I was there, I'd hesitate calling the police. That's for sure. I'll probably call one of you guys first.
No, absolutely. The heightened fear that comes along with all these type of reports, 100% doesn't help the fact out that there's going to be
Did
more.
you hear the other day?
Hysteria.
Yeah, did you hear the other day that a guy got into a car accident and he was
Then
trying
they killed
to?
him.
Yeah, they killed him. Why? Why'd they kill him, Saeed? Tell me.
Because, man,
Was it-
they're not ready to be cops, dog. Just
No,
like how,
no. Tell
for
me
example,
why they
you
killed
go
him.
to a cop-
Really? Is that why they killed him?
Why? They're not. Hold on. You tell me they killed him because they were fucking
No,
malicious.
he killed him because he was black, bro. And that's
Well-
their training. Police training is messed up. They tell you
Exactly,
they profile
bro.
people. That's how they're trained.
Yeah.
They're trained to profile people. They're trained to think, no, you're better to be tried by 12 than to be carried by 6. That's the police mentality, bro. Protect myself.
Absolutely.
Protect myself.
True, but why
You're a
not
cop. You're a
onboard-
cop. You should be a
why
hero and
not
risk
get
your
cops
life.
that aren't like that, bro? Why is it that we're allowing cops to get in that have fucking barely even passed high school, that don't have any fucking knowledge of what the fuck to do in real life, have faced no real adversity? Now you give this dude a gun. He's already a racist fuck. Right now that he's going to go out there and what, you expect him to change his mind? Fuck no, fam. If he's a racist cunt before that, he's probably just going to now abuse his power after that.
But if the police training is done right, they should be able to convert all these people applying to be cops and make them objective and reasonable.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
but
what
they're
I'm saying.
not, so
I
defund
think
them.
In a perfect world, that's what we would need, right? Because if you defund the police, okay, look at what's happening in Cali right now, fam. They don't got guns in Cali like that. California has one of the strictest gun laws in the country, right? Yet there's more rampant crime over there than anybody else.
Is there more rampant crime over there, bro?
Or
How do you
maybe
know
it's
that?
talked about more than anywhere else.
It's talked about more than anyone else because the people
Right.
that's the richest, one of the, if not the richest state. So
Right,
if there's
but the
any
point
little
being,
bit of
though,
crime,
right,
people
is
complain.
that we are selecting. It might just be that we're selecting cops, right? Because at the end of the day, let's be honest, they're here to help us out. In a perfect world, they're here to help us out.
Most
right?
of them, sure, maybe.
No, I mean, is that not what the police is for, right? I mean,
Doesn't seem like it to me. Not from. And that doesn't seem like it to me. Every time I hear about police, there seem to be escalating situations, making things worse, killing innocent people.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. In today's society, that's what we are used to, right? But are you telling me they really sat down and created the police whole force to just be like, yep, you see this minority, you're gonna go fuck them up?
Do you not
Your
know how
minority,
the police
go
in the
ahead and fuck
U.S.
up your
were
minority.
formed? Do you not know the original why and how police was created in America? They're formed to protect property. That's the history of the police in America.
Then I mean, at that standpoint, right? Yeah, we're fucked, right? Until things change. Like I mentioned, this has nothing to do with the color of the cops. Obviously, the whole intuition, the whole institution behind what the fucking cops stand for is corrupted, right? Like you said, why are we allowing them to go by a fucking in Lansing, Michigan? What do you need a tank for? 1,000 block is not that dangerous, bro. You can probably go in there with 2 fucking 9mm and call it a good day. You don't need a whole arsenal of tanks and rocket launchers to go take them bitches, right? But yet, hold on. That has to get approved by city council. That has to get approved by the people that are in charge. It's a bureaucratic system. And if the whole chain's corrupted all the way up the ladder, blaming the fucking people at the bottom is easy, right? But the reform is ultimately going to come in when we start holding everybody accountable in that particular chain. This stuff that happened that we saw, that the whole world saw, this man viciously get beaten to death while yelling for his mother. What was it, 100 feet away, 100 yards away from his own house?
Yeah.
Man, imagine that mother. Did you see her during the fucking when they first came out about the video, fam? Did you see the stepfather? No woman, no man should ever have to do that with their child, bro. And that's fucking vicious. Yeah. And the fact that he ran is what they used for them to justify beating his ass the way he did. Fam, in the video they showed that he can't even fucking sit up after the beating. And what did the fucking hold on? If the cops were bad, that's fine. Then why did the fucking ENT not help him? The ENT plopped him back up and said he's fine. Yeah. Until he fucking fell over for the fifth fucking time. Why aren't we banning ENTs then? Why are we not fucking defunding the ENT?
Maybe we should defund the ENT.
And 3 of them are fired, by the way. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. It's not you can't just say defund the police, fuck the police. That's not how this stuff works. You have to be able to realize that in a situation like this, there needs to be more reprimands for people in those particular situations. You are looked upon as a fucking hero as a cop. That put your suit on at the beginning of the day, you know that you're going to go out there, you're going to risk your life to save people, right? Inherently, that's essentially what. As a kid, fam, okay, when we wanted to be cops, you really think about, I'm going to be a cop and go beat the fuck up out of minorities.
I know. That's true, bro, but that's just not the reality. The reality of the situation
that's what I'm saying.
The reality of the situation is when the cops are trained, they're taught this. They're taught better to be tried by 12 than to be carried by 6. Better. My life is the most important. The biggest crime in America is to disrespect a police officer. You disrespect a police officer, you go to jail, even though you didn't commit any crime. They'll figure out something to put on you.
The police. Take people like this and what they did with these people, right? Why is it? Okay, this is what my question is. George Floyd happened. Derek Chauvin went on a whole trial in front of the whole country.
Yeah, I was about to say this.
All that. Yeah. How the fuck did these people get charged before the video even got released to the public?
This is what I was about to say. All the previous police killings, what happens to the cops? Nothing. Nothing. They don't even get fired. Yeah. They don't even get fired.
The George Floyd guy got fired.
Yeah, okay, all right. Yeah, but that's...
No, but I'm saying he went through a trial and everything, right? Like, it was basically like, all right, did he do it? Was it because of that or was it because he was already high, right? This one, it was like, before the video gets out, all you motherfuckers fired, no suspension, no pay.
Why is that? Why do you think that is?
Why is that?
I know why.
No, the dude was fired immediately in George Floyd.
Was he? No, wait.
It wasn't.
Derek Chauvin I thought he was suspended.
No, they weren't, bro. They weren't fired immediately. No, they weren't. And in a lot of these cases, police don't get fired. They get put on leave, and eventually they get charged. Eventually, once the police.
But at the same time,
but not this time. You know why? Because the chief of police in this time is a black female, okay? And these cops, many of them are black. So if it's a white cop, they get a chance. But not in this case. And then she went over the top.
At the same time, also, fam, like, you can't sit here and say that there's more bad apples than good, right? Just because we're fucking shown this shit way more than what the good cop might do, right? Obviously, there's always going to be a heightened fear of what the fucking cops are doing because that's what we're fucking seeing on a daily basis, right? Now, there is a lot good that they provide and there's a lot of evil, right? Now, I'm not saying that every cop is bad, but there are fucking bad cops that are there. And they aren't bad cops. Those are just fucking terrible human beings.
Then why do you think we should give them more money?
No. Don't give them more money. Take what the fuck they have right now. Don't take what they have away. Have a higher fucking bar. Bro, if I have to go to a doctor, okay, and if that doctor passed in 6 years of med school, either one, I'm never going to that doctor, or two, that man's a fucking savant, right? There's a reason why a doctor has to finish 12 years worth of fucking education, including the rotations and everything to get to that final spot, right? And even then, they're not all the fucking same. They all have different opinions on the same exact subject matter, right? Whereas a cop, fam, it's like, all right, here's a week, shoot this fucking mannequin. All right, this is what you do. Do not talk to somebody. All right, man, get out there and go controlled area, right? Now, think about it this way: if you're not properly trained for your job, right, and in a job that it requires you to be social and to be interacting with the community, right? Say you have never done that before, and now you're put in a position where not only do you have to do that, but now you also have to worry about somebody shooting you in the back of the head every day you go out. Fam, you're automatically going to gravitate towards a certain mindset that most of these cops do. I mean, let's be honest, bro. Like, it's not easy being a cop, especially in these dangerous areas.
Well, I mean, yeah, of course, it's not easy to be a cop. I mean, that's why people are supposed to respect you, because it's a hard job and you risk your life. But cops aren't risking their lives anymore. Hold on.
So now what you're saying is fuck everybody.
No, I'm saying is don't defund them until they can fix this. It's a systemic issue. Police training is a problem. Until they fix it, don't fund them more. No, hold on. Like for example, right? And this is not the first time. Every time there's a video of this and then someone gets killed for no reason, innocent person gets killed, just pay attention. Pay attention to the orders the cops give. Pay attention to the orders the cops give. They tell you keep your hands behind. Oh wait, hold on. Keep your hands behind your back. Stay on the ground. Stay on the feet. Show me your hands. They're all the orders they give. It's impossible to. Did you
see the orders they gave him?
Exactly.
His hands were sprawled out. And
that's what I'm saying. He said, "Open your hands," but this is not the first time. This happens every time. It's a problem with the training. They tell them to say things, do things that it's impossible for them to do because they're being pinned down.
But it's not about in that given time frame, right? If you're afraid, it's a fight and flight type of ordeal, right? If that person is not already able to establish what he needs to do in that short amount of time, say if it is life-threatening, right? It's a different story. We're not training them for that, bro. We're not training them to be put into situations where they're going to be facing real-life dangers like that. We're putting them in like, hey, here's a piece of paper. If this happens, you do this, right?
You're wrong. You're wrong. They're being trained to do this. They're being trained to put their lives first. They're being trained to not take any risk. This is how they're being trained.
Then what about all the
they're not ignoring training. This is the training.
Sacrifice their own lives. What about them?
Who's sacrificing lives? Who?
You're telling me you've never heard about a cop story where someone sacrificed his life to go save somebody?
Have you?
Oh yeah.
When?
Yeah. I'll look him up right now. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me inject in this on a couple of the data aspect. I don't know the statistical. I was looking for this, but I remember a while ago that most police officers in their career never fire their gun. Let's just be real. Most have never get into huge. And I do have that data though in terms of use of force. So about 20%. And this is from the Illinois Criminal Justice Authority research, whatever, in terms of where was it? I just moved right by it. So, anyways, most people don't ever have a low percentage have the use. What do you call it? Use of force and there's a definition of the use of force and what they count on the use of physical force, obviously, in terms of that. Most don't even have. Most police officers go their whole career without it in terms of that. Found it. So a studies found focus the use of threat is less than 20% in terms of used or threatened to use police in 20% of arrest records. The percentage dwindles to 5% of police contacts outside of an arrest is being made in terms of that. And then less than 0.01% is a weapon forced in terms of use of force when a weapon is involved. So that's 0.1% in terms of that.
Yeah.
So this is, and I'm not trying to minimize what just happened. I'm not saying that it's still too high or not in terms of that, but just perspective on that aspect of there's a lot of good cops in terms of that, and a lot of them do the right things overall. And then I do want to go to this Memphis, so I did look up Memphis, I guess, statistics in terms of that. Their hourly pay for a 1 to 2 year when you started is $25 per hour. If you work full time, it's about $53,000 to be a Memphis police officer. In terms of that, you want to hear the requirements to be a police?
Yeah.
Please.
Memphis, 21 years old and complete basic training.
There you go. And how long is basic training?
That's it. You shouldn't have any felonies convicted or pled guilty to any felonies in terms of that. And they also say that you shouldn't have any violations like federal or state laws violating force, violence, draft, dishonesty, gambling. And then and you should be a valid Tennessee driver's license, and you must live in Shelby County within 6 months of the hiring date. So afterwards, you must live it. They do have a character clause, so it's not, I guess, a requirement, but it's just a character. Good moral character, honesty, integrity, leadership, personal responsibility, dignity, respect, individual accountability, excellent, stable employment record, good driving record, and no history of addictions, drugs, or alcohol. I don't know about the drugs and alcohol or driving, but there's a lot of these things that Tyre Nichols didn't see or face in those police officers. So, and how do you judge good moral character, honesty, integrity? Do they vet that beforehand or not? Obviously, they don't in terms of that. And I think the biggest thing here is typical task for Memphis police officer. Number one, they say is make arrest. Make arrest. That's their number one thing in terms of them driving. Then they say direct traffic, investigate crimes, write reports, assist citizens. This is no particular. They don't have a number on it. It's just the order that they wrote it. Serve warrants, assist citizens is 6 in there. Survey warrants, conduct, whatever, respond to emergencies. So that's one thing. And then I looked into the actual hiring process for the Memphis police, and this is on reimaginememphistenessee.gov. So these are public data on their government websites. So you apply to memphistn.gov, and then they do a phone interview. If you pass it, you move on to intake, which is you drop in birth certificates and documents. If that passes, then you go to a BAT, it's a battery test. This is a test that you have to pass. The test consists of, I don't know if it's timed, but you have to run 1.5 miles. I doubt it's timed, but it says just run 1.5 miles. Complete the physical agility test, and then a reading comprehension exam. You have 2 attempts, which is that exactly. So that's you have to pass that. If you pass that, you move on to the next one. And the next thing, they give you a contingent job offer, which is a verbal job offer for candidates, and you get sent to that. During that job offer, they do a background check, and then the board reviews it and says you're a good candidate and moves on to the next step, which is a screening. The screening is just this is where I thought it was funny. There's a medical screening, of course, after you pass the background check. And then there's a psychological written exam and clinical interview, which is interesting to know. Is like, what is a psychological written exam and clinical interview? How did these guys pass that? Obviously, when they can think that they can kick an individual in the face when they're down. So you get that, and then you can reapply within a year if you fail the screening.
So
then you're offered your final job offer, and then obviously you go through the academy, and boom, you become.
And how long is the academy? Do you know?
Does it say?
14 to 16 weeks on average.
I did not search for that.
Okay.
It's how long it is. 14 to 16 weeks,
Yeah,
right?
so
If
like
anywhere,
3 months.
it could be up to 6 months. It could be 3 to 6 months, right?
Okay.
But the point being, though, Sam, what you just said, it sounds like they've already started to defund that fucking police department, right?
No, it's like anybody
If
who
that's
can
your
run
criteria to
a
start
mile and a
a
half is getting in. anybody. We can
No,
run
no,
a mile
no.
and
But
a half
look,
getting
look.
in.
Why is it the first thing?
Pretty
It's not
much, yeah.
to help the citizens out of this community,
No,
right?
no, no.
Why is that not?
No,
on
the
their
thing
list?
is, right? A police officer it's such a not just iconic. It's like it's such an important job
It's
to
held.
have.
It's held.
Influential.
It's
Yeah,
held
it
1
was-
day a week for 9 weeks. A 9-week course for 3 hours a week. That's
So
mental
that's like
Oh, wow.
nothing. It's nothing. It's like it's a 3-credit course. One 3-credit course.
1 day a week is less than that.
Yeah, 2-credit course. So here's the
But
thing.
you see what I'm
Hold
saying?
on.
How does it make fun? How does it make sense to defund
How
that?
hard is it
Anything
to
that go forward.
well, hold on. How hard is it to become a lawyer? How hard is it to become a doctor? How hard is it to become a pilot? It shouldn't be
You're right.
this easy. It's harder to become a bus driver than to be a police officer.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, and then
You
I'm
can't
not saying
defund
okay.
it.
I'm not saying don't defund. What I mean is like until they can prove that they're using that money for training and not to buy tanks, don't give them more money.
Right.
But I would. It's after doing that little thing, and my stance is I think fund the police more. Is my
Exactly.
in terms of you fund the police more. At $53,000 a year starting, and if you've been in which is crazy, is if you've been for 12 years in Memphis, what would you think if you've been a police officer for 12 years in Memphis?
Yeah, but it's just economics. It's because they've
Guess the money.
everybody and their
Guess
mom
the
is a
money.
police officer. After
But
12 years,
guess how much they'll make after 12 years?
6, 7,
Starting
70.
1 to 3. Starting was 53 and 1 to 3.
Oh, at least 100. I would say 105.
No, I don't think so. I think they capped at 70 because they don't have to get a degree.
It doesn't matter.
12 years in there, you're getting
I
$64,000.
told you.
$30 an
It's
hour.
because everybody and their
Because
mom
of
can be a police officer, so it's not hard.
So
So
then, yeah,
A sergeant
that's
is 70. A sergeant is 70.
if it's
in terms
that
of that.
unfruitful, right? Why the fuck would anybody even take the time to take
Why
a job
would
like that
yeah,
seriously?
12 years? That's it. I mean, you might have great benefits. Don't get me wrong. I don't know that.
You do have pensions
12
still.
years. Some do, some don't.
So-
But 12 years. That's it.
Yeah.
In terms of that.
okay. So I agree with everything you guys are saying. Like what I mean is like they need to use that money to do proper things, better training, give them more money because it's harder to become a police officer. But don't waste it. Don't waste it on bullets.
No, I completely
Like
agree.
AR-15s.
First of all, the academy, that whole academy system, once a couple of days. No, it has to be. It has to be like the military in terms of
Yeah, it does.
housing them and boarding them. You board it because then you can't really test their psychological, how they interact amongst their peers in terms of that. How do they follow orders? How do they? It has to be a boarding situation where you're in there for 3 weeks at least. You know what I'm saying? 3 weeks of living there, you get a better judge of character than once a week for 9 weeks. You know what I'm saying? In terms of the training, and it should. If I'm honest, if they already got the job, they should be doing this paid in terms of the boarding because it is paid in military too. When you go to the military
Once
in
a
terms of
week.
the boot camp,
Once a week for 9 weeks. It's like I'm
check
training
the sources,
for.
but that's what I got from the Memphis
It's like-
academic.
It's like
So
trying to get a
basically,
certificate to like learn how to type or something. Like
And the issue is, right, we cannot let, obviously, what happened with my man Tyre Nichols is fucking abhorrent, and God bless his soul, and, God may take payback for what the fuck happened. But at the end of the day, fam, like, blaming every cop for these type of injustices is also not the right thing to do, right? That's just fear-mongering at that point. And I think the consensus is we need to have better trained officers out there, right? Because what happens is anytime you have one of these fucking morons go off, or a few of these morons go off, it mars all their character, right? And at that point, obviously, that's not fair either. Because if that's the case, then I mean, shit, then that we got to apply that ideology to everything. However, in today's society, yes, we have a problem with incompetent officers, but there's not just incompetent officers. There's just a few of them that we need to go back and get them the fuck off the force.
I mean, yeah, and we've been. On
I do
this
want
for
to
a
add
while.
though.
Yeah, go ahead.
One, so that the paper on the criminal justice, that was a full research on this. So they did point out a couple of things in their closing arguments in terms of and I do want to point out what it is. So if you so if you are a person living in an intersection of marginal groups, such as a black person who has mental illness or have low income or LGBTQ, may encounter higher rates. So if you're, and it's in statistics say African Americans on top of, so if you're in multiple marginal groups, the use of force on you becomes a lot more higher statistically. That's a good point, but again, I do have to say, like Saeed said, this is a very small percentage, but like, if a pilot has somebody said this a while ago, a pilot cannot have a bad day. There's no, but it was sourced from somebody else too, in terms of that. I've heard it before. Like, a doctor cannot have a bad day. You know what I'm saying?
No, they can't.
No, hell no.
They can't. In terms of that, and I would argue a pilot should be way more trained than a police officer because they're handling hundreds of lives on a daily basis.
And by the way, underpaid as well. Another job that's underpaid.
Yeah, but there's certain fields you just can't have a bad day, and because of that, it is. They do have a couple in terms of reforms. In my personal opinion, there should be more standard police academy. Not each department doing their own thing. Should be more, just like how the Army is very standard, where if you do boot camp in Michigan, if you do boot camp in North Carolina, it's pretty much standard in terms of how the training is done. In terms of that, the people who do it might be a little bit different, but it's pretty standard on that aspect. But so that I do agree on that. And then I would suggest at least a 2-year program in terms of an associate degree. You might not need a college degree, but 2 years. If you have to be 21, you might as well get something. They say good employment record, but I'd rather you be exposed in those 2 years. You'll be exposed to different people, different lifestyles, different cultures.
Even while on the job,
that would get you more open. Yeah, I mean, I would suggest they should get at least an associate. Because if you're in community college, you're meeting different people. You're seeing, these people are different. You're in that community. You're seeing and interacting with different people. In terms of that, I would recommend that. Some of the ones that this Illinois criminal justice paper says, and which is funny because in terms of the use of force, there's an FBI study or a national study that collects these data, but less than, I think it says about 8,000 participate out of 18,000 police. Departments. So less than 50% participate. I think it was like 43% that participate in data being transparent, which is sad.
Yeah.
And it goes ahead. And there's a lot of police departments that do not require mandatory body-worn camera, which is even more.
That's crazy.
Sad.
That should be standard now.
That should be standard, and that's why funding is required, in my opinion. And if we're going to give you funding, your training has to be upgraded, but and not just like some of the training that they do mention, but like your police academy has to be completely upgraded, revamped, and it should be standardized. And I'll give you more money for a united police academy, and I'll give you money because everybody's going to have police one camera on top of that. I'll give you money for that. Money shouldn't be an excuse for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
The other thing is limited military equipment. I do agree on the limited military equipment in terms of tanks and stuff like that. Or if the statistics show you there's minimal use of force, why do we have to have a rocket launcher or something? Yeah. And I understand different regions might require different things, and I understand that.
There's no.
That's why we have a National Guard. That's why we have a National Guard versus on that. And then there should be continuous training because there should be always continuous training in terms of any job field is continuous training in terms of like upgrading new technology. You should learn whatever. So crisis intervention, de-escalation training. There should be 2 or 3 of those. If I'm honest, there should be that quarterly. And then that's what something that they suggested. And then they should also have, they suggested restricted use of force. including prohibiting chokeholds and other neck restrictions, unless deadly force is authorized in terms of that. That's different than in terms of these situations, but there should be very restrictions on deadly use of force, at the end of the day. And that's why you have an effing taser. What do you call it? Taser. That's why you have a taser, bro. It's a de-escalation. Pop the taser, move on.
Well, yeah, that's what they did in this case. They used the taser.
But then they used extra stuff, though.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You have a taser for a specific reason. It is a de-escalation tool. And you're not using it properly at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And emotions and whatever. Like, okay, don't be emotional then. If you're emotional, then that's not a job for you. You know what I'm saying?
Fam, all I gotta say is stop giving me speeding tickets for low dollars.
And we all have been pulled over in the situations, and all of us are in situations where we've learned that's how to be more not friendly, but like to be safe at the end of the day. Like if I'm getting approached, I'm not moving my hand.
Fuck the way it is. Right there, brother.
I'm not moving my hand, and I literally ask it, bro. I'm reaching for my license, or my insurance, whatever registration. It is in this glove department. I'm reaching it. After he asks, I'm telling him it's in there. I'm pulling it out. Like so, I mean, we know those certain things. And maybe if I'm already doing something bad, I'm more fearful. I might do some things, but I learned real quick. It's better to just be friendly and not deal with it instead of the extra stuff. And it's because at the end of the day, people are emotional. They have their own judgments. So that's my take on it. I think we should fund the police more.
Final couple things on this. Well, one thing is in that situation, even if you do something, you get mad or don't move your hands the right way, like you shouldn't get shot for that. Like it should be always the last resort. Okay, that's the number one. Number two, Memphis police and certain police districts, they're notoriously bad at these sort of things. Like we grew up in East Lansing, we grew up in Michigan. Cops in Michigan, cops in East Lansing, not the same as cops in Memphis. I'll tell you that right now. There's a lot of stories about Memphis.
Cops in East Lansing aren't the same cops in Detroit, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So of course true. That's a big
cops
issue.
in East Lansing are not the same cops in Lansing.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So So and then the final thing I want to say is like, yes, it's true. It's rare. 0.01% is rare, but they're getting paid to make sure they handle that 0.01% the right way. And right now, whenever that 0.01% happens, it seems like they're not handling it the right way. So that's all I have to say.
Final thoughts? Saeed?
Get these bad fucking morons off the police force. Let's make sure, and stop fucking. Can we please have the media stop? Obviously in situations like this, by all means, but this fear mongering stop as well, bro. You know what I mean? Yes, at this point in time, this was a different situation that we've been used to, and at that point, whatever you may consider it, but at the end of the day, let's not forget this is the direct result of untrained police officers for a situation that they don't know what the fuck to do in.
It's not untrained. They're trained. Is just the problem with the training.
No. Trained according to who? To the bare minimum.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, there's a problem with the training. It's a systemic issue.
Yeah.
One question: would you rather be pulled over from a Lansing police cop or an East Lansing police cop?
Lansing, 100%, 100%.
E?
I don't know. East Lansing, I guess. I've only been pulled over by East Lansing.
Oh, you have not lived here in a while, then obviously.
No, I haven't. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
All day.
Oh, give me Lansing
all
any day.
At Lansing.
Yeah.
All day.
Why?
East Lansing cops are just. I'm sorry. If you're not white in East Lansing, you get pulled over, you're getting searched for no fucking reason, bro.
And one thing too, this is an important thing that I said, because I've been pulled over by local police and I've been pulled over by state police.
Yo,
which one would you take? A state police officer or a local police?
Local, man. State's too big of a dickish ass.
No, I'll take a state all day.
I remember. Hey, remember that party?
All day.
Remember that party when I was living with Luke and John, not our John, another John. There was the Okemos police. Though they were dickheads, man.
Bro, fam, why is it that I was the only one that got an MIP of all of us, bro? When every one of y'all motherfuckers was drinking at the same exact party, bro. What the fuck?
That's
I'll
not
take
that's not a police
bro.
problem. That sounds like a you problem.
That's a
take
racist problem,
state
fam.
police because a state police. I mean, I've gotten searched by all of them, and don't get me wrong, but I've gotten let go in terms of speeding tickets.
Yeah, they're
It's
not
a lot
looking.
of speeding tickets.
Oh, it's from that hindsight, yes. Okay,
No, but they search my car. They'll still search my
Yeah.
car because I don't care anymore. Especially now that I'm sober, I don't do anything. I really don't care. Just search. Especially because I know I've been caught by speeding way more than I should. Especially because I'm in real estate and I'm always late. I've been caught. Then I just say search it because I already know they're gonna let me off when they find nothing and they look stupid.
Yeah.
So, but local police will still feel stupid and give me a speeding ticket in terms of that, and will still give me. And not only that, some of them, state police, in terms of that, they've, especially when I was, weed is legal in terms of that now, but they'll catch, especially when I was smoking like back in the day, they'll pull me over. I said, I got weed on me, and said, okay, and they don't even search it. They just let me leave. That's the only thing I got. In terms of the state police have been a lot more friendlier by far. If I made, they're more worried about something else. They're literally more worried about something else than small, minuscule stuff. Local police, especially, that's the same thing with East Lansing versus Lansing. Like Lansing police, they're way more worried about something else, which is a different topic in terms of other things than misdemeanors and stuff like that. Which East Lansing police, that's all they're worried about, especially that. Anyways.
Yeah. Well, that was
also one thing. State police are also way better trained, by far.
Yeah.
By far. The State Police Academy.
That's federal mandated, right? That's not local municipality.
No, it's the state. It's the state police.
No, but yeah, I'm saying the state police. Isn't it funded by the federal government?
No,
it's more.
No, it's not. It's funded by the state. It's the governor. It's the U.S. has FBI.
Not only do you have to be like an officer for certain years, they check all your track records as an officer, and then you guys go through special training on top of that, though.
Yeah.
In terms of that, you don't hear about any of these situations in terms of deaths by a state police officer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't hear anything about that. It's never a state police officer doing this. It's always a local. This city's PD.
Yeah, and
it's never a state police. You know what I'm saying? It's never an FBI all of a sudden just shooting down somebody when a full lethal force is not necessary. You get that? You know what I'm saying? There's a bit. One is more trained versus one isn't.
Yeah.
And also, state police and federal police are more situations that require lethal force, but they're not still killing them. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's because
their job description.
The good local police end up going to FBI and state police, like CBI or whatever. Yeah, so that's what I don't.
But you would think that they're involved with more violent crimes, that there would be more incidences like this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they're better officers. Yeah.
Simple.
All right, we spent 45 minutes on this. 51 minutes on this already.
Yeah. All right. Well, then, we have 51. Well, it's actually 40 minutes, but we've been on the call for 50 minutes. Anyway, then let's get to the. It's a good topic. Yeah.
Yeah, that's facts.
The juicy. You want to introduce it to one of you guys?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the next topic is about Ukraine. I don't actually have too much to say about it. I joke about it a lot, but I have I don't know. You sent me a link, Sam. Okay. So should we start? Yeah. Should we start with the link or should we start with the video?
Let's start with the link and then
video.
Video. Okay. So
this,
So you said you want to watch the whole thing?
Right here is fine actually.
Right here, okay.
There were too many Muslims.
Wait, hold on. What's the video called before we continue?
We were quite shocked.
Oops, sorry. The video is called How Ukrainian refugees are handling cultural integration in ethnically diverse areas of the UK.
We've always hosted lots and lots of people, never quite so long as 6 months.
It's a long time.
So it is a long time, and I think
Shout
we
out to
hadn't
this lady, though.
necessarily taken
Yeah.
into consideration the cultural differences.
But those cultural differences weren't often talked about when Andrea signed up to the Homes for Ukraine scheme. She lives in a diverse part of Birmingham. After a week of staying there, her guest told her there were too many Muslims in the area.
We were quite shocked at how difficult she found different cultures.
She felt there were just too many Muslims.
Too many Muslims, too many people with different skin colours.
Her guest's son was enrolled into the local school, where the majority of children happened to be black and Asian.
And then to just have her complain about the demographic of the school and going, well, he can't be safe there. There's not enough white kids, essentially. The majority of my neighbours are Muslims. A lot of them are Kashmiris or Pakistanis, Indians, and they're wonderful people. And you just felt if you just would sort of give them the time, perhaps we'd come to the same conclusion.
They both agreed to end the placement. Britain is, of course, far more ethnically and religiously diverse than Ukraine. Could more be done to help the refugees who have settled here to integrate? It's a question that's been debated with each new wave of immigration over the decades.
For people who aren't from the UK, they don't realise there's lots of people that look like me here. And that can be quite like, wow.
Shout out this lady,
You
too.
know,
Yeah.
I thought England was full of English people. And it is, because I'm English, but I just look very different.
Defining diversity. When this refugee support group recognised the problem, they organised this workshop for Ukrainians who have settled here.
Do you find that there are assumptions made about yourself when you walk into a room like this?
Yeah, you know, I'm a 6 foot tall black woman. So yeah, I'm sure when they came in, I could see people really clutching their handbags. But by the time
Damn.
we'd kind of got into it, you know, people had warmed up. There was lots more smiles. They were talking to each other. So I feel like we got it just about right.
The government told us they provide councils with £10,500 per refugee to help Ukrainians fully integrate. That funding has been halved for new arrivals. This workshop is a voluntary scheme, one of the very few in the country, and there's no specific funding for it.
And that kind of keeps happening. If you look back at, you know, previous waves of immigration, exactly the same things were said. People like, actually, it would have been really helpful to have had a bit of guidance, to understand the city, and we just don't seem to be able to fix it.
Olga arrived here in October with her son.
For us, it's rather like amazing to see so much religion, so much ethnicities. And
Because I guess you're just not used to it.
yes, of course,
What did you feel about the workshop today and what you learned?
British people, it's not only white English people, it's all people here is British. So for us, it was very important to understanding from their history.
The debate around integration often focuses on helping refugees into employment and housing. Tackling cultural integration can be trickier.
From the best area of Kiev, where I became to the worst area of the Birmingham, unfortunately.
This is what I was talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Oksana moved
She called
here
it the
from
worst
Kyiv
area
last
in
summer.
Birmingham.
She admits that at first, living side by side with so many different cultures made her feel afraid.
I was very afraid because it was not usually for me, and and some people just told me about so many dangerous stories.
Those stories, Oksana says, included cases about Islamic terrorism.
Lots of people here would feel very offended that you feel just because it's a mixed area, it's not safe.
I saw statistics on the police website, police, and so I saw statistics of criminals instead of it. And also I read in the internet in English when I began that this is the area from terrorism.
Oksana has now moved to a new area.
Not everybody knows each other.
You got the fucking
The
Mustang
Hometeam
shirt on, bro.
scheme
Get the
was
fuck out of
initially
here.
set up for 6 months, but as the war continues, so too questions of relocation and resettlement, integration and adjustment.
Well, that's the first thing we'll share. I'll go back to the screen for all of us, and I want to get Saeed, since you're wearing representing your people's home country on your head, maybe we can start with you and your thoughts on the video.
Man, okay. So obviously, I'm not a historic. What is it? What the fuck do you call people that study history?
Historian.
Thank you. I thought I was about to call it historical, but
Yeah.
historian, or nor do I know much about the geographical confines of Ukraine, right? But my man Putin said that they invaded Ukraine to kill the Nazis, and I think this lady proves the fucking point. No, man, it's my biggest thing is this, right? Like this war, obviously, any war for that matter, where innocent civilians are dying, or any conflict where innocent civilians are dying, are wrong. It's clearly wrong, but. There's no but, sorry. But what I was trying to get to is like this whole ordeal, right? We're gonna get nuked off the face of the fucking planet, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be honest, right? Even before this whole situation, what did the U.S. do? We started putting all these missiles next to all these countries, next to Russia, and basically we're like, do something, right? Yeah, Russia's like, that we're gonna do something, right? Now, obviously, the whole war has shifted quite dramatically with Russia now having to open at its cracks and whatnot, man. But yo, come on, man. Like, there was never this much support for a country until, let's be honest, they were white, dog, right? Like, man, Saudi Arabia has been bombing Yemen for how fucking long now? And what did we do? Here's some more F-16s, brother. Matter of fact, here's some more money. Let us buy your oil. Yemen, take 2 of these, because fuck y'all, right? But like, as soon as Ukraine went to war, fam, now we're sending them $2 billion worth of aid, right? Like on the, I don't even know, like a yearly basis, whatever basis, right? We're giving them all these weapons. We're giving them all this shit. And at the end of the day, I don't think we fucking learned from what we did. We did the same thing with ISIS over in Syria, right? We gave them all this equipment. What happened? They said, all right, fuck it. We're going to build our own regime, right? And now, I'm not saying that this is facts, but there has been certain accounts that in certain regions of Ukraine, the cities or the governments are run by Nazi sympathizers, right? Y'all can agree on that, right?
Yeah, yep. That has been the information.
Right, like that has come out already. And I think what this lady just portrays right here, right? I mean, I'm not saying that she just deserves war because of this, God forbid, but like Ukraine is they're very tight-knit, right? And if you're not a part of that society, you're an outsider. And if you're an outsider, they don't understand you. They automatically mark you as dangerous, right? But is that really what they're preaching in Ukraine? Fuck no, because they can go down to South United States and have the same exact mentality over there, right? And it's just one of those things, man, where I feel like, you know, our country has to come in first, right? And it's the age old debate, right? Like, why are we stepping into a war that is not ours, right? Like, yes, granted, obviously, there's a lot more repercussions that come in about to be. But fam, I could show you down like where I live right now in Detroit, Farmington Hills, fam. There's people out here that, you know, they were in the military and now they're struggling to make ends meet, right? And it's like, why are we not helping them out? Fam, our roads in Michigan have more potholes than fucking probably Ukraine does. Why don't we get that fixed, right? Why are we so hell-bent on being Captain Save-A-Ho and rather than take care of our own people? It's the same thing that when it comes down to Israel that we do. It's the same thing that happens in fucking Ukraine. Yo, can we focus on ourselves, please? Right? Granted, let them fucking figure it out, bro. You were the ones that broke up the USSR to begin with. Let them figure their shit out, fam. Why don't we focus on ourselves, man? Right? Like, but then that's with any war, bro. Like we don't have to step in. We don't have to show and be like, yeah, our balls are bigger. We already know that Russia, they can't even invade Ukraine, fam. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are they gonna do? Nuke them? At that point, we'll figure that part out. But can we please focus on our own country? Can we please figure out why we are in such hyperinflation and why we're headed the way we're headed? Why is it that people can't afford to buy housing even for themselves? A fucking dozen eggs cost $9 in some states. Yet we're out here sending billions of dollars of aid. Like, come on, fam. You have single mothers, you have single fathers that are struggling. You have military people that have come back to this country that are struggling. Why don't we help those situations out, man? And that's where I stand on this.
America first.
America first, bro. And this is where this is where I become more of a conservative than a liberal. Is because sometimes I feel like our ideologies don't make sense.
That's not even conservative. That's a progressive viewpoint.
Right. But in today's society, if you put America first, you're automatically conservative.
Not
Which doesn't
America
make
first. You're talking about defunding the military.
No, whoa,
Yeah, you were.
hold on.
Yes, what you're saying. That's what you're saying. You're saying. Hold on. That's what you're saying. You're saying take away funds from this war and give it to Americans. Isn't that what you're saying?
Yeah, but it's not.
Yes, it
Foreign
is.
policy.
Yes, it
is
is.
different than
You're saying
military.
take away money from the Ukraine war.
We are giving them
from
shit
the
that we
Ukraine
already
support.
have. We're not creating more for them.
It doesn't matter. You're giving the money and spending resources from Ukraine. You'd want to take it and spend it domestically. And that's what it is.
Yeah. Doesn't mean decrease military spending. That's not what we're saying.
That's what it
I'll
is.
give you a fucking penny.
What do you think
hey,
you're
look,
spending
my car
money
is,
on?
hey, I have $100,000 in my car.
There's foreign policy different than military
All right,
policy.
we'll talk about foreign policy. All right, is it my turn now? Is it my turn yet?
But yeah, no, point being, I just feel like we
just
need to focus on ourselves. Defund the military. Fuck no, fam. There's a reason why America's number one, baby. $600 billion.
It's the only thing. It's the only thing
military
America is number one at, and it's quite embarrassing. Yeah.
Whoa,
What else? Tell me. What else?
You got the biggest economy.
The biggest GDP. The biggest GDP is useless. Useless because you know why it's useless? Because we still have one of the highest wealth gaps of all developed countries. What's the GDP doesn't tell? The GDP doesn't say.
Another thing we're number one.
The GDP doesn't say anything about that. The GDP has nothing. It only tells you. The GDP only tells you how much the 1% is fucking your ass every day. That's all it tells you. And it's fucking all of us so much more.
You asked the question, I gave you an answer.
All right, anyway, fine. Two things are number one. All right. Hold on. Let's talk about Ukraine. Ukraine topic.
Okay.
Is it about Ukraine?
Go ahead.
All right.
Well, it is about Ukraine. Ukraine, right? If I'm spending $600 billion on my military, I'm not fucking sharing that shit with goddamn Ukraine, bro, is what I'm trying to fucking say.
No, but you are. That's what we're doing.
That's what I'm trying to say. Why? No, hold on.
All right, okay, hold on. Okay, my turn. All right.
Okay,
so,
go ahead.
What are we spending money on the military for?
Protection, brother.
Who are we protecting ourselves against?
You never know.
Nobody, bro. Nobody. We have F-16s.
Russia and China. And China.
Hold on. Yeah, yes, we're in just in case, right? But that's the problem is right now we have so many. They keep building more and every year, more planes, more tanks, more planes, more tanks. They're all there sitting there empty in the lots, not doing nothing. No, it's not. They're not. They're useless.
Innovation comes from military spending.
Anyway, yeah, okay, whatever. All right, so let's start. All right, hold on. We're going back to Ukraine. Okay, all right, Ukraine. I agree with you. The Ukraine they need to stop supporting Ukraine, and it's not because of the funding, the military funding thing. It's because why is there a double standard, right? Why is there a double standard? Okay, Ukraine is being bombed by Russia or whatever. Okay, then what about, like Saeed said, what about the Yemenis? Why are we helping Saudi Arabia instead of helping the Yemenis, right? It's because Saudi Arabia buys weapons from the United States. All right, so that's why we can't lose our money. We can't lose our economy, our main source of income. Number two, what about the Palestinians? Israelis, they're making an apartheid genocidal nation against the Palestinians right now. Why are we helping the Palestinians? So again, in two cases when it's brown people being attacked and bombed, no help, no aid. In fact, we're aiding the oppressors. But when it's white people getting bombed, then refugees, man, refugees. I thought we had a refugee crisis. I thought we had a crisis of refugees coming from South America and coming from the Middle East. Oh, suddenly there's no refugee crisis. Suddenly we're accepting everybody. What's going on, right? Suddenly let's accept the refugees. And even that video, I know it's kind of messed up because like the Ukrainians are like they want their cake and they want to have their cake and eat it too. Basically, save us, and then we take them. They're like, but we don't want to integrate with your community. We want to keep it the same as Ukraine. It's like, no, Ukraine got bombed. It's over. You're here now, like, right? So, okay, like, just shut up. And you want to live here, you want to go back, right? If you want to go back, that's fine. But, this is the UK, this is America. The skin color doesn't matter, So You go to the worst school in Birmingham because your country got bombed. You don't get to go to the best school. Start from the bottom like the rest of us.
You got a choice, man. You shut all the fucking
all the immigrants that moved to the UK or the US had to start from the bottom and work their way up. That's what it is. It's gonna have to be for you too. You don't get a head start because you're white. I'm saying so. That it is what it is.
We're all immigrants.
Yeah,
we had
exactly.
an immigrant society.
Exactly. So
we're not refugee.
So, that was actually my side point. But what I mean is, that's the double standard that we're dealing with. Okay. So I kind of forgot my final point, but most of my points, if I remember it again, then yeah. But
Dan, what's your thoughts, brother?
I'll go in. First, I wouldn't go in too much on the Ukraine thing because they did give us 2 examples.
Shit. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I forgot. My bad. Yeah. No, my qualm with that video was it's just more propaganda. It's just more propaganda. It's like it sounds like, oh, you're telling us, oh, look at these Ukrainians. They're not integrating back to society. But actually the hidden message there is, well, we have programs. We have programs to help them to understand that you can.
That program wasn't funded though.
Whatever it is, I'm talking about that video by the BBC or Channel 4. It's like, yeah, the Ukrainians they are a bit racist, but hey, they will integrate. Don't worry. You know what I'm saying? Where's the programs for the Iraqi and the Afghani refugees? You know what I'm saying? Like every time I hear something about on the news about those refugees is, do we have enough money to take in these refugees? Or how much money do we have to spend? Are they criminals? Like, so it's a double standard, man, when you talk about refugees.
I do want to point out, like I said, that program was not funded at all. Maybe they're asking for funding. I don't know. Maybe that's the message on that. But it's funny because, we're not refugees, but we're happy to come here. You know what I'm saying? All of you guys were happy to come here.
Yeah.
I would assume that the Somalians or the African refugees that end up coming here, or immigrants in general, most of us are very happy to come here. The Ukrainians are not so much in terms of they're happy they left their safety for safety, but they're not happy to have to start over. Like, all 3 of us were very wealthy in our own country, compared relative to our country, but we came here to slum it out and make it better. You know what I'm saying? And in our cases, the parents did so we can have better opportunities. But our parents were fine there. We would have lived a very luxurious life in our countries. But we came here, and I know because we all live in the same apartment complex, and my parents rose to the middle class upper middle class that they're in terms of that. But they grinded for that, and we were happy to do that and put in the work. I don't know. I can't speak to that, but I do know I can't generalize the whole thing because there was the ladies that I didn't know. I'm happy that I learned, and I'm happy that there's a bunch of freedom. And then there's the other 2 ladies that said, "I'm out, peace, I'm moving to a different community."
Yeah, they call them terrorists.
And I mean, when you move to a low income neighborhood, there's going to be a high rate of crime. That's just it. Yeah. It's not, doesn't matter if you're in the low income white community, low income Asian community. You could be all Asians in that area. If it's low income, there'll be high crime. Yeah. Simple. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's economical at that point in terms of that. It's just simple on that. So those are my reactions on that video. But I do want to point out some statistics.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
I'm a big stats guy.
You want me to share the screen or no?
I'm a big stats. Yeah, share that big one. And then slide down to, this is it's called, I don't know, some Global Economics Institute. It's called the Ukraine Support Tracking Tracker.
Institute for the World Economy,
Yeah, Institute. It's a educational website, but they have a Ukraine Support Tracker. If you scroll down to the first chart on the bottom, I don't know what I'm looking.
This one?
No, the one that has orange, blue, and Oh yeah, that one. It was just loading slow. Go up a little bit. One more. Go up. Go up to the parent.
Oh yeah,
right there.
yeah, okay, yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
That one. So if you look at the left, and it's funny, so this is the total in billions in terms of that. The US says that, we didn't give as much as Europe in terms of finance, because Europe said they gave 30 billion. And the US said, we only gave them 15 million for the past year.
Oh yeah.
In terms of finance. But look at the big fat orange in terms of military aid that
taxpayer
has given. So and that military aid is another is security assistance in terms of training equipment, weapons, logistics support, and other assistance provided by security in terms of security assistance. That was about 8.9 billion. Weapons and equipment, 12 billion in terms of weapons and equipment for defense departments and defense stocks. And then grants and loans for equipment in terms of that. Humanitarian is just mostly like food assistance and healthcare and refugees. And that's what the humanities portion of that. So, and then finance is just straight money and loans in terms of that. That's just straight money funded in. In terms of that. So this is about a year's worth in terms of that. Then there's another data, and I was looking at the U.S. total foreign aid, and this is U.S. total foreign aid just generally. And this was as of 2019. So the data is just, at that time it was the most recent, at least the one I didn't deep dive. It was about 47 billion.
Damn.
In terms of that.
So this is
at
like
2019, obviously. At 2019, you that in terms of that. So it's a little bit higher. I mean, I would assume it's a lot higher now in terms of that. But 10 countries in that list. Ukraine, it's funny because they don't. So this is foreign aid that's pretty much like given out on a regular basis.
Yeah.
In terms of that. Number one is Afghanistan at 4.89. Number two is Israel at 3.1 billion. Jordan at 1. Egypt, Iraq, Ethiopia, Yemen, Colombia. Most of these are after Egypt. It's less than $1 billion. Egypt was at 1.4 in terms of yearly funds. So this is just funds, and not including any weapons or anything like that. In terms of that, this is just strictly funds. As of 2021, Afghanistan got 1 billion in terms of U.S. aid in terms of that. In terms of that, let me.
Yeah, so this is like unprecedented how much we're giving Ukraine.
Correct, and that's a perspective that I'm trying to point out, that it's ridiculous in terms of, and they maybe not so much as a finance, but at least for the total in terms of weapons and everything around their aspects of it. It makes you ask the question, why so much? It's coming so much. What's the incentive? Of course. Sorry about that. My dog was spitting or throwing up. I don't know in terms of that. But anyways, so that was one of them. And then if you're comparing it to like African countries, which are about which are significantly less, even Middle Eastern countries in terms of that. It's just funny how they can just justify it, and it's easy to give money out, but, and you pointed this out, when it's African countries or even Middle Eastern countries or anything like that, there's a lot more, why are we spending so much money? But Ukraine one, we just write that bill in terms of that. And I mean, in my opinion, is anything we can do to slow down Russia, we should. And that's ultimately that's what it breaks down to. I don't think, even if it was the left or the right, there'll be more aspect in it. I don't think it's so much as a race, but it's a Cold War in essence, and to try to slow down Russia more than anything.
It's
You can't say we're not really involved when you're dropping $50 billion,
yeah.
pretty much the whole foreign aid to this war in
Yeah.
1 year.
It's not just
the
the
war
Cold
started-
War. It's a proxy war. We're making the
It's
Ukrainians
a
with
proxy
our
war.
weapons fight.
It's
Yeah,
a
the
proxy war.
Russians.
It
Yeah.
is.
So
Yeah, so I mean that's pretty much it that I have in terms of data aspect of it. But I just thought I don't know. That money could be it's weapons. It's majority of it. Like what I don't. I mean, America's fine. We could use it to build roads here and stuff like that. And I do say America first, whatever. But I mean, like, I'm pretty sure they'll get a better return on the dollar if you invested that in Africa or even in
Oh hell yeah, bro!
different regions like Syria or anything like that. In terms of developing countries that would do better, because China's spending just as much in Africa right now in terms of building roads and stuff, because that's what they would like to have more influence in Africa and have a better power in Africa.
Yeah,
in
China
terms of
is
support
doing
in
it the
future.
crazy, like they're giving a lot of money out to a lot of these developing nations because they know one day you got to pick a side.
Exactly, which is scary because U.S. did that years ago, and then they stopped.
Yeah, they
You know what I'm
stopped.
saying?
Yeah. And also the sanctions
pivoting.
with Russia. The sanctions with Russia, I heard. I haven't looked into too much about this, but it's not really working because Russia and was it Iran or one of the countries they connected their banks. Or something like that. So now it's like, it's almost like, it's a weird. I have to look back into it. So it's
Russia will give cheap oil to everybody as long as they can give cheap oil to somebody and somebody's willing to buy oil and gas. But Russia will always have money.
Yeah.
And they thought they could just sanction them. India says and China says we'll buy cheap oil.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Simple.
That's what it is. Okay, so I think that's pretty much our thoughts on Ukraine right now. So wow, I think two big topics is good. Yeah. So what's next, Sam?
Yeah. I guess sports. We'll just try to keep this one short. 10 minutes. We're gonna discuss that LeBron's the greatest player ever, and Ronaldo is the second best. Is the best soccer player in the world, and that Patrick Mahomes are going to be is the Super Bowl champion. That's my take on those three. Patrick Mahomes is going to be the greatest football player ever, in my opinion, especially after he wins this Super Bowl. And then LeBron. I don't want to hear the LeBron versus Jordan debate. LeBron's just better. Physically, I don't know about mentally, they're about the same. They're both dogs. But LeBron is just a better player. If you're talking about scoring, they're similar, but LeBron's just a better player. Don't give me the championship, whatever. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear 6-0. LeBron played 20 years, and he's averaging 27. His 20th year. He's having one of his best years ever at 20. I don't want to hear anything about it. And then Christie, 20 years from now.
When you guys talk,
imagine this.
No.
One question: 20 years from now, you think they'll be like Messi? No, 20 years from now, the kids will be like doing their pose for Christie.
No, they won't.
Simple.
But yeah, Americans. That's what Americans think that, but it's not. It's not even close.
Hold on. When was the last time you heard of ML9?
First of all, he wears number 10, so
exactly.
Yeah, but this is what I'm dealing with. If you're watching, this is what I'm dealing with. People who think they know about soccer, but they really don't.
Hey, look. I gotta.
Hey, can you? Hey, okay. I will admit that Ronaldo is better than Messi if. Right now, without looking it up.
I don't want to hear anything.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You didn't want to hear me. Name me all the positions from the goalkeeper to the top. Name me right now.
What are you talking about?
All the positions. All 11 positions. All 11 positions.
I got you.
Okay.
I got you.
Why would I waste my time doing that if I know Ronaldo?
Goalkeeper. Goalkeeper. Defender. Midfielder.
No, see,
forward.
Exactly. That's not. I said 11 positions.
I know. I can.
There's 11 positions.
That depends on formation. That goes on formations.
Left back, right back.
You can have a center back, left.
Go
ahead.
Center.
I forgot this dude plays FIFA.
Okay.
Yeah, we all play FIFA. We can name you that.
What's up?
Yeah.
What's up, boy?
You
Hey,
get 4
none of that
midfielders,
matters.
left midfielder, right midfielder,
Okay,
2
hold on.
forwards. You
matters,
get a center,
guess what?
No, all
center
right,
forward.
all right.
Ronaldo
Alright.
plays
And we
striker.
play
So
FIFA.
can I
That's all
talk?
you
Can I
gotta
talk
know.
or what? Can I talk or what? What is
Let's
this?
hear it, bro.
All right. First of all, I don't think anybody will sort of eclipse Brady. I know what you mean. Like for example, we chose LeBron. Right? All of us think LeBron's better than Jordan, and I don't even think it's close, to be honest. But so I mean, Jordan is
All
a
the
winner
call me a
and stuff.
bandwagon, huh?
Yeah, because for a while, I'm a big Kobe fan, so there was that debate going on at the time. But especially when LeBron won, down 3-1 against the greatest team of all time, basketball team of all time. Like that it's like this never happen again.
Never.
Ever happen again.
Never.
And let's tell the truth about it. That year was the best Golden State Warrior team
Ever.
I
No,
mean,
it wasn't.
well,
KD
without
was.
KD, without.
No,
KD.
I'm talking about record-wise. They were still better even with.
But still, yeah. But I mean,
The best team was the KD year.
Yeah,
Let's
the
just-
best
Oh well,
team
yeah,
was- okay.
that's
But
the
still,
Western
yeah,
All-Star.
That's still, yeah. But I mean, I just think that's a crazy accomplishment, and it's like championships, yeah. But if you look at, let's not even talk about like the ones LeBron won, but let's just see all the finals he went to, and then look at all the finals Jordan went to, and look at the teams. Like we can debate Jordan, LeBron. But we can't debate Scottie Pippen, Dwayne Wade. Like we can't debate. Jordan just had better teams. Jordan just had better teams.
Led took Delonte West to the finals, bro. He took J.R. Smith.
Mario
to the finals.
Chalmers, bro. At PG. Mario Chalmers was the starting PG.
So it's over. Like it's
Little
over.
Mario.
It's over.
Chris Anderson was a center.
And I mean, like I've seen Tom Brady, and I know Sam, you're making a prediction, and you like looking into the future, but we also grew up watching Tom Brady on the field live.
Yeah, I do agree. Tom Brady's still number one right now.
The things he was doing on the field.
He's been in 3 Super Bowls. This is the 3rd Super Bowl, though.
Yeah. But the thing Tom Brady was doing on the field, like let's look at comebacks. Just comebacks alone. Like I want to see the comebacks. Like I want to see everything that Brady did. If Mahomes can do it at least once, like then okay. But I want to see him do everything Brady did at least once. You know what I'm saying? So
Bro, like he needs to have at least 6. He needs to have at least 6. If he gets 6, then it's a
Messi, Ronaldo. I don't even want to debate you guys about that because the truth is like it's not even really a debate. Like Messi is the greatest player of all time. If you most people that watch football growing up and like are not Manchester United fans and are not Americans, they're usually gonna say Messi is the greatest player of all time. But
his teams are straight loaded.
Million, bro.
His teams are straight loaded.
Yeah, so are Ronaldo's teams. So and Ronaldo
not in Portugal.
Sar, bro. What?
Not now. I mean, like when they were winning Champions Leagues.
United.
When they were winning
last year.
When they were winning Champions Leagues. Let's just say when they were both winning Champions Leagues, right?
Okay, so then Juventus, the last Champions League, Ronaldo won with Juventus. Who was on that team?
That's talent, and that was recently, and he's old.
That was 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yes. He never won with you. He didn't win the Champions League with Juventus, bro. He won the regular. He won. See, this is what I'm talking about. Again, people that don't know anything about football. He won the Italian Cup and Juventus.
Hey, that's
let them know.
That's
bro. There's only one. Tell me another team in the Italian league.
What is Real Madrid? Not Real Madrid. Milan.
Milan. Which Milan?
Inter Milan, AC Milan.
Say. Don't say anything. Which one wears blue? Which one wears red? AC Milan or Inter Milan?
AC wears red and black. Nothing played for him. How am I not?
Yo, this is why I can't stand people outside the United States putting us down, bro. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying?
I'm glad NBC's finally started airing the football games.
And it only took by FIFA 23.
I'm not gonna lie though, I am biased because like
thank you.
What's his name? Cristiano Ronaldo played for Manchester United, which is a rival of Arsenal. So I hated that he won with them a lot.
No,
But
let's
at
be
the
honest,
same
right?
time, like Ronaldo is the greatest goal scorer of all time, greatest striker of all time. I just feel like, and they're neck and neck. I just feel like, as a personally, like I like the creative and playmaking abilities as in football a lot more than I do like the scoring goals. So
Yes.
And there's an
You're the
inherent
person that
bias.
voted for Steve
100%.
Nash to win the MVP that year instead of
Uh,
Shaq. You're that dude.
I would have voted for Kobe, but yeah.
You're
Yeah,
that
no,
dude.
Yeah. I would have. Yeah, I probably. If I was
Bias, right?
media, I would.
I'll
I
tell
would
you
have
why.
probably voted for Steve Nash. Yeah.
I'll tell you why I like Ronaldo more, right? And this is just from my perspective, right? I mean, to putting sports aside and everything like that, there's a commercial that Ronaldo came out with. I think it was for Nike, if I'm not mistaken. And do you remember what he raced in that commercial? It was a Bugatti Veyron. And he raced down and up, right? And I don't know who this man is. But this man just beat a Bugatti Veyron. And granted, the race didn't make any fucking sense because the car would have, the whole thing. But right then and there, I knew that man was meant for greatness, bro. And then I played FIFA 2015. And it solidified that Ronaldo is by far the best player that I've ever seen or played
FIFA
with.
2015 is great.
I have one closing argument.
Okay, go ahead.
Why Ronaldo is better? Who speaks better English?
Well,
Enough said.
Yeah.
Enough said. Enough said.
I mean, there's no reason for Messi to speak English. That's why he
No,
knows,
no, whoa.
he knows Portuguese and Spanish. But okay.
Who's
Anyway,
about-
to go back to FIFA 2015 though, like because even when I left there, people play FIFA here and stuff. And bro, in those years, 15, 16, if you played Ronaldo, you didn't have to do anything. You just had to give him the ball and shoot from outside the box. He'll score every time.
Exactly.
It's just crazy.
But at the same time, you also, as a Ronaldo fan, right? I think a lot of this is just holding on to dear hope or dear life at that point, because you know damn well, right? Seeing Messi win a World Cup and doing it in the manner that he did, right? Having obviously more Ballon d'Ors and stuff like that. Statistically wise, all that matters, right? But 5 Champions League trophy mattered more, baby, and more goal scoring mattered more, baby.
Maybe.
And that's for that matter.
Messi has 5 Champions Leagues too. So
Messi has 4.
does he have 4 only?
Yeah, Ronaldo has 1
Oh
more.
yeah, but Ronaldo had one.
That's the
more.
only thing. Hey, that's the only thing I'm
He
holding
has
on
one
to.
more,
Like,
and he got that one with Manchester United, and he wasn't the best player on that team. So, just saying.
That's a great way to put in that.
Wayne Rooney was at the time.
Yeah, no.
Ronaldo was
fact.
very young.
The best podcast is the Hometeam Podcast. So if you stayed this long and agree that Ronaldo is the best player, please let us know in the comments below.
Like and subscribe, baby.
He does not know what he's talking about. I don't want you to subscribe because we only want the loyal, real fan base.
Subscribe.
You just watch.
No, subscribe, dog. Definitely, the loyal fan base got to subscribe.
We're a small channel. Help us out. Subscribe.
Hey, new
We're
merch
not
coming
small.
soon.
We're not small channel, bro. What do you call it?
Up and coming.
Our pronouns is a big channel. Our pronouns is a big channel.
We're not gonna. Okay.
Yeah.
Our pronouns is we are a big
pronouns
channel.
another day.
Our pronouns is we are a big channel.
Wait.
Put some don't disrespect me by not calling me by my pronouns, bro. We are a big channel.
All right, let's not. Yeah.
We're about to get canceled
We'll
before
talk
we get
about
to that.
pronouns. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Join us on Twitch for Call of Duty action.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Do it again.
All right. Peace.
Y'all down?